Stage, put your hands together for Ewan. Ooh! Yeah.
Alright, so these are some brand new jokes. You know, the way that we talk about sex is weird, you know? Because, like, you don't do sex, right? You have sex, right? It's like eating a meal, you know? Like, first course, second course, intercourse. You know, rules are rules, right? You can't break the rules, but rules are like penises. They can be bent. Yeah, you know, I was in the United States Army, but before that, I wanted to actually be a Marine, you know? But every time I would talk to one, it would get all weird all of a sudden, right? Like, I met this one guy when I was senior in high school, and then he was like, he was a Marine, so I was like, oh, I want to be a Marine, you know, right after. And all of a sudden, it was like, dun, 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 you know? It's like this blackness, like, covered his face. He's like, man, you better really think about it. You better really fucking think about it. I'm like, okay. And the same thing about a month later, right? I run into another guy, he's like a Marine. So I'm like, oh, dude, I'll join the Marines right after high school. And all the same thing, right? Dun, dun, dun. Man, you better really fucking think about it. So I'm like, shit, maybe I don't want to be a Marine, right? These guys are like, obviously like traumatized by it or some shit. So I'm thinking this over. And then one day at school, me and my buddy, we like ditched class to go smoke weed. And we're walking back to school. And this car pulls up next to us, right? It's these two guys in these white suits. And they're like, where are you going? You going to class? And we're like, yeah. They're like, well, you should join the Navy. It's fucking badass. Woo! And they peel out, right? Like, "Arr!" And I was like, what the fuck was that all about? I was like, dude, you know, maybe I should join the Navy, you know? They look pretty happy, right? So I'm thinking about it, but I'm like, you know, I don't want to be a seaman. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like wearing this damn little uniform and stuff. Like, I know me. Like, I'm too pretty to be on shit with a bunch of dudes and shit. So I was like, nah, you know, so I just joined the Army, right? It's like, whatever. And so I was a private, which sounds kind of gay too, you know, but I'd rather be a private than a seaman, you know? It sounds a lot less sticky. You know, Christopher Columbus was the first person in modern history to record seeing a UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah, the night before he found America, Columbus wrote in his diary that he saw like a light come out of the water and fly away and shit. He's actually the first person in history to say the phrase, what the fuck was that? Yeah, I read a story about a trans lady who changed her mind and wanted to get her penis reattached, you know? And I was like, this story is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, the dodo bird is the most famous, you know, extinct animal, right? Of the lesser known ones was maybe the Tasmanian tiger, the white rhino, and the American man. Yeah, I have a bit of an attitude, you know, and but my attitude doesn't come from like my race or my gender even, right? It comes from my military status. Yeah, because I'm an U.S. Army veteran, you know. And so like, you know what like a maggot is? Okay, U.S. Army. So like, unless you're a Marine or a Navy SEAL, you know, then I'm just better than you, right? That's just how it is, okay? Like, do you know what a maggot is? You know, maggot. When you first join the Army, everybody calls you right that, right? They're like, you maggot, get over here, maggot, go over there, maggot, you know, shut up, maggot, right? And they're not really trying to be mean, they're just calling you what you are. In military terms, a maggot is a soldier who has not finished training yet. You know, you haven't completed your training. And so they don't call you a soldier because you might not pass training, you know? You might not have what it takes to be a soldier, right? So until you prove that you do, you're just a fucking maggot, you know? Now that's why, like, you know, for civilians, you guys aren't even maggots, right? You're like lower than a maggot, you know? So that's why I'm like, whatever, dude. And then, yeah, people ask me like, oh, you know, most of the guys are like, oh, you were in the Army, you think you kicked my ass? No, but you give me a fully loaded M16 with a bayonet attached, you're a dead man, no doubt. Yeah, I was an expert rifleman and a champion bayonet fighter. Like, who are you, Superman? No, you're dead man. No doubt, right? And so, like, yeah, the Army, they didn't teach me how to beat people up, right? I was trained to kill. Yeah, well, that and to jack off in a porta john. Yeah, you know, golf and stuff has like the largest selection of miniature golf courses in all of California, right? They have like 4 whole courses. Yeah, they got more holes in South Bay Road Street. Yeah, my dog is a miniature pincher, or min pin for short, right? Yeah, they're notorious for like not listening to their owners, and sneaking out of the house, and just barking at everyone and shit. The breed is called miniature pinscher. But they're a major pain in the ass. Yeah, you know, they say elephants never forget, you know. Yeah, that's true, until it's their turn to take out the fucking trash. And they say, Disneyland, they call it the happiest place on earth. But that's just if you're a little kid, you know. Yeah, if you're a grown man, I'd say the happiest place on earth is South Figueroa Street. And, you know, California is now #1 in road rage in the whole country. Finally, all my hard work is paying off. Yeah, you know that whole Little Dick Asian thing actually worked to my advantage a couple months ago. Yeah, I was at an open mic and this little 5'2" French lady, she like totally singled me out, you know, from the other comedians. I guess she was thinking like, hey, look at this Asian guy, he's probably got a lot of money and a little dick. Wrong. Yeah, I'm an open mic comedian, I don't have any money, you know. And I have a normal sized dick, you know. I know because I was in the army. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, when she first saw it, she was like, oh my God, your dick is huge. And I was like, it's not that big, but thanks. It's not the biggest in the world, but it's big girthy, right? So upon initial insertion, she was like, ah! You know, like, yeah, like hurting someone with your dick, it's like the manliest thing you could ever fucking do, right? Yeah, I could almost feel my ancestors like patting me on the back and shit. Yeah, it was cool, you know. I suggest all guys like date women that are at least 6 inches or more shorter than you, you know? Yeah, when I saw my dick in her little hands and shit, I was like, wow, maybe I do have a big dick. It was cool, you know. I felt like a porn star with her and shit. I was like, hell yeah, you know, man, I give myself a porn star name. I could be E1. Ooh. Yeah. And, you know, they see these billboards over around Hollywood about this blind mountain climber that climbed to the top of Mount Everest. It's pretty inspiring, right? But then I was thinking, well, how does he know he was on the top of Mount Everest? You know, for all he knows, he could have been on top of Mount Whitney, just like right over there. And then I was thinking, well, that's actually a pretty good business idea. Yeah, getting paid to take blind mountain climbers up to the top of Mount Everest. You know, a lot of important things were invented in China, right? Like paper, the compass, gunpowder. One thing not invented in China, though, driving. Yeah, I was there a couple months ago, and this dude was sitting like right there, giving me the Jada Pinkett face. You ever seen the Jada Pinkett face? It's when someone's staring at you, they're like, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Don't be sitting there giving me no Jada Pinkett face. You better knock that shit off before I give you the Will Smith hand. Yeah, you ever been to a Korean barbecue restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of unique in that you pay to cook your own meat, right? If you pay a little extra, you can wash your own dishes and take out the trash. Yeah, I was over at Mount Baldy this couple weeks ago, and I learned that it wasn't always called Mount Baldy. Now, back when the mountain was a little more youthful and more hopeful, it was known as Mount Rogaine. And one of my buddies told me that when you scratch your head a lot, that's what makes you go bald, you know? But I don't think so, because my balls are still hairy as hell. And one of my buddies is a white dude, you know? He's like super duper white though. I think he's like part albino or something. Yeah, he's so white when he comes to my house, all my plants start growing in his direction. You know, whenever I'm having sex, like, I never last as long as I'd like to, you know? I'm always like, come on, penis, hang in there. It's always like, yeah, screw this. What do you call an oyster that won't share his food? Oh no, why did the oyster share his food? That's why. Because he was shellfish. Alright, what do you call a guy who can make a business suit real fast? Taylor Swift.
Oh.
You know that thing going around where, like, if you're a lady and you're alone in the woods, would you rather run into a bear or a strange man? And a lot of women are choosing the bear, right? But I think that's just ignorance of bear knowledge. Yeah, because I ran into a bear alone in the woods once, and he fucked the shit out of me. You know, scientists earlier this past year, they reported for the first time 2 male humpback whales having sex. Yeah, Hollywood's already going to make a movie about it. Yeah, they're called Humpback Mountain. Yeah, I've had sex with all different types of women, white, black, Asian, Hispanic. You know, in my opinion, Asian women give the best blowjobs. Yeah. If any of you ladies like to prove me wrong, you can meet me in the bathroom after my set. You know, comedians always tell you two things, right? They always tell you when they just get booked on a show. They always tell you when they just had sex, right? That's a bit juvenile, don't you think? Like myself, I haven't been booked on a show in months. But I did get late last week, so whoa. I'm an empty one, and I'm out of here. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah!
Keep it going for Ewan.